In-game Kongis. Areas of corruption on the Atlas now have a central corrupted nexus. In the areas leading to the nexus, corruption will spill out from slain enemies and amalgamate into powerful monsters. Okay. Upon reaching the nexus, you will begin the task of cleansing the source of the corruption. Complete this task and receive crystalline shards that you can use to obtain Atlas passive skill points. A boss for each faction has been added. These appear in Corrupted Nexus. Warlix, thanks dude for the resub. Additional corruption monster factions have been introduced. Corruption monsters have had their visuals and animations improved and their skills rebalanced. Corruption areas no longer give +1 area level, but now are much more likely to have modifiers, and the modifiers can be more powerful. Some new corruption modifiers have also been added. Cleansing and access will cause surrounding maps to become cleanse maps, which have their own set of monsters and rewards, including the newly introduced Fracturing Orb. Fracturing Orb fractures a random modifier on a rare item with 4 modifiers. Yeah. In order to open a corrupted nexus map, the waystone placed in the map device will need to have at least 4 modifiers. You can now respawn and return to a map if you die. No, you can't. Everybody's playing hardcore. In parties, everyone gets to respawn that number of times. You can enter and exit maps as much as you want. Once you start a boss fight, the respawning system will change to require the map owner to collectively respawn the entire party. Nobody plays groups. If you decide to rush the map boss without encountering any of the other map content and then you die, you will respawn at the boss checkpoint and only the map boss will be present. Huh. All other monsters and content will be removed. Okay. The number of towers on the Atlas have been drastically reduced, but each one is now more powerful. Tablets, except boss tablets, inherently add twice as many mechanics to towers. Using higher tier waystones in towers also now increase the number of mechanics applied by tablets. By tier 15, the bonus is doubled, allowing a single tablet to now add 4 times as many things as before. Killing rare monsters required for map completion no longer has a chance to grant monster modifiers to the remaining rare monsters. Increase the chance for rare monsters to have 3 or 4 modifiers in maps. This means they drop more items. This is mostly to compensate for the removal of rare monsters, granting their modifiers to other rares. Extra content such as Breach, Delirium, Expedition, Ritual now start spawning further away from the Ziggurat Refuge. Okay. Waystones can no longer drop at a lower tier than the map you are in. Huh. Waystones dropped by final map bosses will now always be 1 tier higher. Corgo baby dog. Orlin Porlin, thanks dude for the resub. Remove chances for waystones to drop a tier higher from the Atlas passive and lower the amount of waystone quantity available on the Atlas passive.
Meek creature!
Alklufk.
Meek creature!
Alk party.
I'm the slow devil, thanks dude for the resub. So does that mean the only way to get a +1 map tier is literally only from bosses? Am I reading this right? Like nothing in the entire game will drop waystones higher than the current map you're in unless it's from a boss, so you are forced to boss. At least until you hit highest tier maps. That's what it looks like to me. I don't know if I'm missing something. Three to 1? Yeah, I guess 3 to 1 if that still exists. That would work. Doriani now has up to 10 wavestones available to purchase, either at tier 1 or 1 tier below your highest tier completed. The wasteland chance granted by wasteland suffix modifiers has been reduced. Unidentified wasteland per 30%. Wasteland drop chances at a quant. Unique maps give 2 Atlas skill points, so you need to do your unique maps up to 10 total. Add a new modifiers relating to Asmirian spirits for Overseer tablets. Add a new modifiers relating to Asmirian spirits for rogue and rogue exiles for precursors. The Untainted Paradise now gives even more EXP. Recombination has been added to Expedition, which allows you to select mods on 2 items, hoping to get the best elements of each item. As you select more mods, the chance of success decreases. Is this weighted based on like how powerful the mod is or how low the weighting of the mod is? Because it doesn't seem like that is a factor, but I feel like it kind of should be. It doesn't say though. Yeah. Because it would be too stupid to just take a tyrannical and a flaring weapon and just have a GG weapon just for 2 mods. That would be too good. Wait a second. Corgo baby dog. The tablet modifier that causes ritual favors in your maps to have 5 to 10% increased chance of omens now has the values of 15 to 25. Sure. Overseer tablet modifier that causes map boss to have 10 to 20% chance to drop a waste under the current. Now, or higher now, is the values of 5 to 8. Shoko, thanks dude for the resub. The tablet modifier that provides increased rarity in your maps now has 10 to 15, previously 10 to 20. It's just like tablet values decreased, right? But it doesn't matter because how they work in the tower. Rare monsters having additional effects can no longer roll. No longer additional modifier on rares and simulacrum. The various in-game quests that lead to Arbiter of Ash have been consolidated into a single quest. All bosses that are affected by difficulty in simulacrum can now drop all of their specific unique items at any difficulty. However, rare uniques are even rarer at lower difficulties. Huh. I don't know if I like that necessarily. I think it's kind of dumb. Pinnacle boss content now takes roughly half the amount of time to unlock. In addition, Pinnacale bosses have been made much easier at difficulty 0, preserving difficulty at difficulty 4. Players no longer lose experience while dying to bosses, whatever. Make it harder to accidentally start the encounter when trying to open the stash. Who the fuck did that? Delirium encounters and maps now reward 1 simulacrum splinter each time a reward type is filled. That'll help a bunch with getting simulacrums. The base number of monsters spawned in Delirium encounters has been reduced, and the number that emerge by touching fracturing mirrors have been greatly increased. Reduce the intensity of the fog. That's good. The number of monsters spawned from breaches has been reduced. A higher percentage of total number of breach monsters spawned are now spawned earlier in the encounter. Less breach chests. Breach splinters can now be obtained at all map tiers. Okay, scaling up, whatever. Omens now always appear in ritual rewards and map areas. Added support for Asmirian spirits and rogue exiles to the passive tree, Atlas passive tree. Added more notable passives and reworked some of the existing. The deadly evolution encounter has been replaced, which causes your maps to have 40% more chance to have extra random content. But you get 20% less number of monster packs in your maps. 40, 10 more points. Now it's a 10% chance for an additional breach instead of 15. 3% for 3, 1% for 10. No longer cause them to spawn with less HP. The Frantic Invasion Atlas Notable now has 50% increased breach splinters dropped by breach monsters in your maps, previously 75%. It's just nerfs to breach. 30% more class pans instead of 50%, la-di-da-di-da, 20% monster instead of 25. 10% density instead of 15. 100% chance for omens, previously 50, but it doesn't matter. The Rising Pyre, Atlas Notable, blah blah. Less density and breach. Strongboxes now appear in Act 1. Fuck yeah, let's go. I love Strongbox. Many fire skills now visually burn grass and areas. Huge. Characters are now required to at least be 25 to enter Cruel, 50 to enter in-game. Whatever. The base auto attack time for unarmed is 1.4 versus 1.2. But then they put this on top of it, so it basically doesn't do shit. Freeze now builds up 48% slower on enemies. That's some LFG. Player base element threshold is now half of maximum life instead of all of maximum life. So you're gonna get CC'd a ton more. Like several times more. Not even, it's more than double. Presence, base radius is now 4 instead of 6. I wonder if that makes the aggravate bleed boots better. Probably. Monster modifiers stolen from rare mobs, such as through behead support, have had the effect they provide to players be adjusted to be more appropriate. The cool version of Candlemass's essence is now 5% life instead of 8%. That's an Alk LFG, 3% life nerf GG. Worn Sandals grants 30% less movement speed if you've been hit instead of just always 25% less movement speed. Sure. Blocking a hit by raising your shield or parrying now gives you a chance to avoid accumulating heavy stun buildup equal to the chance you would otherwise have had to evade the hit. Unified stun mechanics and terminology between the player and monsters. The stagger that players suffer when blocking too much damage with their shield raised is now a heavy stun. Players are still unable to be heavy stun unless a mechanic states otherwise. Players can no longer be light stunned while their shield is raised. Modifiers to curse effect have been changed to instead apply to curse magnitude. This is additive. Player created objects such as ice crystals no longer have a monster power value, so that doesn't that fix Trample Toe? Pretty sure that just by itself fixes for Trample Toe. Ice crystals can no longer apply on kill effects such as Herald of Ash and Trample Toe. Yeah, so no more Trample Toe. That was. Players have 50% more light stun threshold per time stunned in the past 4 seconds, previously 25%. So you actually get stunned less by small mobs, right? Yeah. Yeah. You'll get stunned less by small stuns. That's good for the lower life guys. Your heavy stun bar now doesn't start emptying until the heavy stun animation has finished, instead of when the heavy stun animation starts. Heavy stun duration on players is now 3 seconds instead of 1. So if you get heavy stun, that's when you press your log out macro. If you get heavy stun, you just log out macro, I guess. Players cannot block or evade when they're heavy stunned as well. So for a ranger or an evasion-based character, like mathematically, if you get stunned by trash monsters in a map, you'll take roughly like somewhere between like 8 to 12 times more damage. Like genuinely, if you're playing an evasion or block based like right side of the character tree, if you get heavy stunned by anything, you're taking 8 to 12 times more damage. So if you get hit by like some big rare or something that was like a heavy stun, and there's anything else hitting you, you basically just instantly die. Glows, thanks dude for the resub. Critical weakness net stacks now track duration individually rather than refreshing the duration of all stacks when a new stack is gained. I don't think that matters. Pin targets can no longer evade. Pinning a target now also causes them to be light stunned. This is some bullshit. This shit mechanic already is trash. The base duration of endurance, frenzy, and power charge is now 15 versus 20. That shit's so fucking garbage in the game already. Fully broken armor now causes enemies to take 20% increased physical damage from hits. Does that mean if an enemy breaks your armor, you also take 20% increased damage? Core Ghost is, he is an evil dog. Core Ghost is, he is an evil dog. Core Ghost is evil dog. We don't really do pure hit damage. This sounds pretty good for players, but we don't really do this. Core Ghost is evil dog. Revivable minions now spawn with their skills on cooldown.
Meek creature!
Hey, I said this was too weak. They buffed it 10% damage. That's decent. I don't know if it's good enough to use, but it's better. It's an improvement. I guess it's a Hammer of the Gods buff, to be honest. That is a Hammer of the Gods buff, because we used that on Hammer of the Gods. Core Ghost is evil dog. Players and monsters now only count as moving while moving. Let me read this again. Players and monsters now only count as moving while moving. No fucking shit. Rather than for the whole length of the many animations that have some movement during part of them. Okay, sure. Whatever. Fucking out, Cholback. Surprise ascendancy changes Titan. Surprising strength now gives 50% more damage instead of 40% against heavy stunned enemies. Okay. Earthbreaker ascendancy is now a 25% chance for an aftershock versus 20. Sure. Minor Titan buffs, whatever. Warcaller's Bellow ascendancy passive now causes Warcries to explode corpses 25% of their life instead of providing corpses in your presence explode. This allows for Warcry area of effect to scale corpse explosion radius. Okay, cool. Total Charm rebuffed, back to 25. That's good. The Encase Jade skill has been reworked. It now consumes all stacks of Jade to grant guard based off your maximum life. What the fuck? Wait, this could be good. The Encase and Jade skill has been reworked. That's like the Doc AFK emote, right? Skill. It now consumes all stacks of Jade to grant guard based off your maximum life. But we don't have the numbers, it looks like. So we don't know how good that is. Without the numbers, we don't know. It could be like really insane, honestly. This could be nuts. The Ancestral Spirit skill granted by... Fuck minions, dude. I'm not even reading it. Ancestral Jade Caster's pinning skill now has its cooldown lowered by 10. Jade Hulk does more stun build up. The Bellow buff from the Warhorn now grants more rage on hit. Sure, whatever. These are just the buffs from the minions that you summon. Alk LFG. The Enhanced Effectiveness Ascendancy passive skill now grants 20% less attributes. The Integrated Efficiency has swap positions with Gem Studded. It no longer provides +3 skill slots. Yeah, that was way too good. This is like mandatory bullshit. Instead, it now causes skills to gain 20% damage per red, 6% skill speed per green, 20% crit per blue. It's okay. It's definitely okay. That's like impactful enough. The Implanted Gems Ascendancy no longer provides +1 level of all skills. This was pretty bad. Instead, it grants +2 level of skills with a strength requirement. Oh, you choose one? Yeah. +2 dex, +2 int. It's probably better this way. +1 skills just by itself is kind of dumb. You're blue boy. The No Mercy, what, Witch Hunter, the concentration thing? Yeah, 40%, 10% more damage. Okay. This seems pretty good. Impactful, honestly, this right here. Obsessive Ritual, this is like their defensive thing. Now grants 35% less instead of 50% less. The Sorcery Ward Barrier recharge delay has also been reduced by 2 seconds. This might be... What is the old duration of recharge on this? Anybody know her? I didn't play it. It was 8 and now it's 6. That's going to be really hard to die to elemental damage. Alknose and Oseling. Voiceman, thanks dude for the Alknose and Oseling. The Thrilling Chase Ascendancy passive now provides when you consume frenzy charges, you count as having consumed twice as many. I didn't play any frenzy charge skills. I don't know how impactful that is. The Running Ass Alt Ascendancy passive now grants 50% less move speed penalty from skills used while moving, previously 30%. The Connected Chemistry Ascendancy has been removed. Enduring Elixirs no longer as a prereq. Added a new multi-choice practical Ascendancy remedies. Provides the ability to allocate Grounding Stick Dowsing, which provide...
Meek creature!
Wow.
Alknose and Oseling. Alknose and Oseling. Alknose and Oseling.
That's pretty good.
Alknose
Crystal Domo, thanks dude for the sub. And Ropters, thanks dudes. This seems pretty good, honestly.
Alknose and Oseling.
Meek creature!
Holy...
Meek creature!
Wait, what? Added a new sustainable practices ascendancy passive, which provides 30% of evasion, now grants elemental damage reduction.
Alk bloobs.
Yo, that's really strong. They're doing this. They need more of this stuff in the game. On these like dog shit ass, like no survivability ascendancies. Yeah, this looks good. Like Pathfinder is actually gonna be a fucking real thing. I don't know how this exactly converts. So if I had like 50% evasion versus the monster that's hitting me, does that mean I get 15% DR? I don't know how it like calcs that. Or would it be more like if you had 10,000 evasion, it pretends it's 3,000 evasion versus elemental damage, and then instead of it being like 50% mitigation, it would actually be much higher because of the relative of how the diminishing returns of evasion works. Like, it could be a lot better than it sounds, even. Like, if you had 50% evasion, you would assume it's going to be 15% DR, but 3,000 evasion versus 10,000 evasion. 3,000 evasion is going to be like, I don't know, let's just say like 38% evade, which would be 38% elemental damage reduction if it works that way. Worst case scenario, it's 15% DR on a 50% evasion character, right? Unless it cares about the monster, like they're, I don't know, it's weird. It's like there's no way to even like know exactly how much you're getting out of it. I don't even know what this fucking class is. Recovers based on the other damage types as well as physical. Okay, you can leech without fizz, right? Honor loss, yeah, let's prevent that bullshit. The Protect Me from Harm Ascendancy now provides 50% less evasion, previously 40. That's not that bad. Now provides 1 spirit per 8 ES instead of 6. Small nerf, small nerf. I mean, it's a fair nerf. 2 fair nerfs. Elemental Expression skill now deals 40% more damage at all gym levels. Bleeding you inflict on cursed targets to be aggravated. That's pretty strong. Added a new Ascendancy passive. Critical hits to ignore monster armor. Whatever. The demon form skill granted by demonic possession now has a cooldown of 15 seconds. Was 20. And a maximum demon flame of 10. Previously uncapped. It's now flat life loss instead of percentage. The dodge roll has had its distance nerfed. You and your allies in your presence gain 50% damage as extra fire. Was 20%. That's pretty big. The Grinning Immolation Ascendancy now provides 50% more crit damage. Now causes 50% of Infernal Flame to be lost per second if none was gained in the past 2 seconds. What the fuck? No longer causes 20% damage mitigation. Demon Flame has no maximum. Oh, I see. You can get your maximum here, huh? After allocating Pyromantic Pack, you will now have at least one maximum Infernal Flame, even with 100% reduced mana. Using Blink while in Demon form now plays an appropriate animation. Whatever. The Circular Heartbeat Ascendancy has been removed. Rapid River no longer has a prereq. The Quicksand Hourglass Ascendancy passive now grants every 10 seconds 50% more cast speed. Why? Like, what? I don't even understand why. What's the point? Added a Flood of Echoes Ascendancy passive that grants the Unleash skill. Is that the same as the Invoker one? The Force of Will Ascendancy passive now grants 1% effective in Arcane Surge per 25. Big nerf. The Scouring Wind Ascendancy now causes exposures you inflict to lower by 12% instead of 20. Big nerf. The Strike Twice Ascendancy no longer provides 50% less shock duration. It now has 25% less magnitude of shock effect. Pretty big nerf. The Small Mana Ascendancy no longer provide 4% mana. And now provide mana regen instead. Big nerf. Added a new blind related cluster. Added new volatility related cluster. New range melee clusters. New hazard related clusters. New companion. Aura presence cluster. Parry cluster. Banner cluster. Bleed cluster. Thorns cluster. Quiver cluster. Added a new Crimson Assault Keystone to the southeast of the Ranger and Huntress. Causes bleeding you inflict to be aggravated. And base bleeding duration to be 1 second. I'm trying to think of a skill. I'm sure like something like Rake is much better for this, but like trying to think of a skill that exists in the current game that's even good for. And the problem is like I can't think of a skill in the current game. Bleeding Conk. I don't know. No fucking Pathfinder skills, dude. I can't think of a single skill that matters. Added a new Trusted Kinship. What is this, man? Causes companions to have +1 to each defense for every 2 of that defense you have. And causes you to have less defense. Fuck off. Those are my defenses. Fuck minions. The following notable have been removed. You will no longer be able to instill them, but existing ones will still function. Okay. 12 jewel sockets have been removed from the passive tree. Okay, less jewels. The Acrobatics Keystone is now 75% less evasion instead of 70, so nerf on evasion there. Aldrich Keystone Battery Eldritch Battery Keystone passive now has the additional problem. Doubles cost of mana. What? Giant's Blood, same thing. Cat-like agility now provides 40% evasion if you have rolled recently. That doesn't do anything. Falcon Technique is now 25 dex per instead of 15, so dex stacking nerf. The Freedom of Movement Keystone now provides 10% reduced movement penalty from using skills. Previously 30% if you dodge rolled recently. Whatever. Heavy Buffer now grants 5% of damage taken, bypasses ES instead of 10% reduced maximum life. Yo, they want you to get fucked in the ass. What is this nerf? Nobody wants to click this anyway. No longer has 5% max mana and now provides mana regen. Master Fletching, 20% quiver versus 30, so nerf. The two small passives are also giga nerf, 6% versus 10. While the two passives after now provide a chance to inflict ailments and projectile stun buildup. Polymathy nerfed from 10% to 7. Raw mana now gives less mana. 50% nerf. I can't do math. Spedic edification, 13 attributes instead of 7%. 7% chaos res. That's a big nerf to that shit too. They don't like their attribute scaling percentage. There's like way less attribute. Split Earth now has a 10% chance for my skills to cause aftershocks. That's the same, right? The Unhindered Notable now provides 12% reduced movement penalty. Unwavering Q. Yours cannot be light stun, so you're basically immune to like mapping stun. That's not that bad, but you need to be able to dodge roll. The small attack damage no new killer instinct is replaced with more attack damage, whatever. I don't even know what's an ore in this game. There's like, it's like deceptive. It's not everything that uses spirit. The mana cost for all attacks, marks, and war cries has been reduced. Adjusted minion damage and life scaling. General damage and life is still the same in early game, but lower than before at higher levels, especially past Gym 20. So minion nerf. So minions have been nerfed. We don't know, there's no specifics, but they're nerfed. Adjusted the target life threshold for Arsonist Explosive Demise. I don't even know what the fuck that means. Fuck minions. Adjusted clerics heal life scaling accordingly. Arc no longer deals more damage for each remaining chain and chains 6 to 8 times at Gym's level 5 to 20. What? I've never even seen someone cast this skill, and it's getting nerfed. I've literally never, I didn't even know this was a skill in the game, but if it wasn't used before and it got nerfed, it's... Archmage now causes non-channeling. 3% damage is extra lightning for each 100 mana. It was 6%, so 50% nerf. Non-channeling spells now cost an additional 6.7% mana, and it costs even more mana, and there's way less mana available. Quality now provides 10% reduced mana reservation. Oh, it's even worse because quality gave 2%. Yeah, that's like dead. That's probably like... You put all of it together. This is gonna, like all the mana stuff, this is probably like 1/4 as good. Like genuinely 1/4 as good. It's like hit from every angle. Armor Breaker has had the armor... I mean, it did break a lot of armor, honestly. Like, too much. It was, like, really easy to break armor. Artillery Ballista Bait. What the fuck is Artillery Ballista? I'm not even reading that. Fuck you. Ancestral Warrior Totem now... It uses a two-hander. Quality is now +2 seconds to duration. Previously 0.4. So Warrior Totem quality is buffed. I use this. I was using it on a lot of characters. Banners are shit. Barrage now deals 50% less damage at all levels, previously 23% less damage. So Barrage is just like trash, right? Am I reading this right? Everything looks dog shit on this now. I don't even know what Barrier Invocation is. Barrier Invocation now only builds energy from whatever. Bleeding Concoction. That's a lot of magnitude, honestly. I don't even know what these skills are. Someone was telling me about these skills, the Bleeding Conch. That seems like a lot. Blink is now a travel skill. Fuck Blink. Bone Blast now has 40% chance to inflict bleeding. It's doubled chance, whatever. Bone Storm Shrapnel has become a general mechanic called Impale. I don't know Bone Storm well enough. All I know is people were telling me it's broken with like Ricochet or some shit. Is this dead now, the bullshit that this skill does, or is it like fine? Impale support, maybe. Don't know. We don't know all the support gems that are added. Cast on minion death, that's not a skill. Cast on shock now gains 1 energy, previously 2. Probably fair, honestly. Yeah, I know it put a debuff that made you do more flat damage. It can't be your only source of flat damage though now, right? You have to have something else to do a fizz hit, kinda. Maybe it does enough flat damage or fizz damage on its own. I don't fucking know. Cluster grenades, mini grenades. This is one archetype I literally didn't play at all. Grenades and crossbows. Cluster grenades, mini grenade explosion now is 1.4 more AoE. Combat frenzy now has gained a frenzy charge when you freeze, electrocute, or pin. I thought the old duration was too long and they more than double nerfed it. I thought the old version of this was like too shit and they more than double nerfed it. Holy shit. That's awesome. Concoction skills now require an unarmed set. They no longer deal your base unarmed damage. Instead, only attack damage specified from the skill, like marks. They now consume 5 mana. Oh, so they cost more? Huh. I don't know how, like, what this all means. The Pathfinder stuff I've seen seems pretty promising, though. That'll be like some fucking Rutu shit, Zhongren shit right there. Conductivity now causes cursed enemies to have minus lightning res. Only exposure breaks max res, right? So this is just generic res, right? Cold Snap now has an explosion radius. Well, that's way more AoE. Holy shit, that's like almost, that's more than double. I don't know how good that skill is though. Curse skills now apply their curse after 1.5 seconds instead of 1. That's really long. I don't have an issue with that though. But that is really long. 1.5 second delay. It's like, yo, I'm dropping Hammer of the Gods, and then my curse is still going to land before that fucking Hammer of the Gods even hits the target. Like, actually. Dark Effigy projectiles now have 7% crit chance instead of 11. Wither, whatever. Decomposition, the skill granted by the boots, now causes Poison Cloud to poison enemies as though dealing chaos max life. Despair, whatever. They don't like their curses. They're nerfing them more. Detonate Dead now deals physical damage equal to up to 10%. Previously 20%. Scaling further. It also now deals less. Now deals. It's just nerfed. About 50% nerf. The skill's probably still really good though, right? Like 50% nerf isn't enough for this skill because it was pretty good. Right? This is nothing. I think. But minion HP has been nerfed also? Okay. If it's hit on more than one angle, like I know Detonate Dead did a lot of damage, like 50% nerf wouldn't have been enough by itself. Detonating arrow has more AoE, direct minions. What? Wait, what? Does that matter? Like that's telling your minions to do an action, right? Essentially. This seems kind of weird. Elemental Invocation now grants... Okay, I know what this one is. Escape Shot now scales freeze build up to... Nobody uses this skill, it's dumb. Explosive, it seems consistent here with the other concoctions. Explosive Grenade cooldown is now 7 seconds versus 3. Now has a slightly bigger AoE at low levels and a detonation time that's even longer. Now again, 75% of damage as damage of the current when they pass over an elemental ground effect. Previously 50%. Boy, remove fucking crit weakness, dude. That shit's so stupid. Remove crit weakness from the game. It's a dog shit ass mechanic. Man, that's so much fucking damage. What is that? There's no way to play this though in the game. No realistic way to play it. That's so much damage. That's like a disgusting amount of damage. Yeah, the charge system in the game sucks. I agree.
You didn't have the motherfucking critical weakness to Iowa 3, you never explosive grenade!
Korgos is an evil dog. He's gonna bite what he does not like. That is you. There's nothing you can do when Korgos will now bite you.
You didn't have the motherfucking critical weakness to Iowa 3, you never explosive grenade! What the fuck is wrong with you guys? You didn't have the motherfucking critical weakness to Iowa 3, you never explosive grenade! What the fuck is wrong with you guys? Do you think guys are playing the game? You didn't have the motherfucking critical weakness to Iowa 3, you never explosive grenade! What the fuck is wrong with you guys? Do you think guys are playing the game?
He's not wrong though. That's the main thing here. The main thing here is he's not wrong. Critical weakness cannot exist in this game. It's so dog shit. Just hard delete it. Just get that shit out of the fucking game. That shit's dumb. The whole everybody's just gonna be a crit build like after a couple days, a week into the thing. There's not gonna be one non-crit build unless you're playing a warrior, and that's like it. Every single build is just gonna be a crit build because they didn't nerf crit scaling and they nerfed everything else. Fireball's a skill in this game. I didn't know that. Firestorm's improved bolts now have 7 crit. Verse 4. Why are they nerfing spells? What are you... Genuinely, why aren't they nerfing spells? Like, genuinely, why are they nerfing spells? They're so dog shit. Flame Blast now has a 15-second cooldown, previously no cooldown. And now deals 75% more damage per stage instead of 200% more damage per stage. It has a bigger AoE. What? No, I've never even seen someone use a skill. I've never even seen someone use the skill and it's already been nerfed. Flame Wall nerf. Like about a 50% nerf? More resistance nerf. Flash Grenade, 500% stun build. This is already kind of strong, honestly, this skill. Fragmentation, rounds base, 1.8. More AoE. Freezing Shards now fire. I don't even know what Freezing Shards is. Is that a crossbow skill? I don't fucking know. Freezing Shards. Freezing Salvo now skills. Freeze build up. More freeze build up than before. It's a staff skill? I don't even fucking know. Frost Bomb now has pulse and explosion. Okay, sure. Frost Wall now has a long cooldown. Frozen Locust. Did they nerf this? This needed nerfed. Like, really bad. So it's been buffed. But I'm sure this means what I think it means. The gym scaling past level 20 was way cooked. Like, way too good. So I'm guessing it's, they know. They fucking fixed it. Fulminating concoction, sure. Galvanic diarrhea. More conversion. I told you, dude. Grim Feast can no longer be in graves. It's just fucking gone. Existing Grim Feast gyms have been disabled. We aim to rework it in the future. It's just gone. Fucking Alk LFG deleted. Why is Meditate still in the game then, though? You can't remove this and not get rid of Meditate. Is there a GGG dev? Like, fucking delete Meditate before this fucking shit comes out, please. You can't leave Meditate in the game while deleting Grim Feast. That's not fair. Get rid of Meditate. Hammer of the Gods no longer has a cooldown, but now requires 20 glory to use. Glory is a resource that gets built up by heavy stunning enemies. Based on the monster's power. So one heavy stun on a boss is one Hammer of the Gods. Quality now gives AoE. This promotes dogshit gameplay. Here's the dogshit gameplay that this promotes. You sit there and you fucking spam your fucking Earthshatter, doing no fucking damage to the boss, just building up stun, and then you drop the fattest fucking hammer whenever you stun a boss with Seismic Cry and Infernal Cry. And then the boss went from like taking 30 seconds of Earthshatters, and he went to 99% HP. To getting one shot with Hammer of the Gods. It's literally going to be that shit all over again. It's going to be that shit all over again. Stun Grenade, Hammer of the Gods. Yeah, that's another one. This is the dog shit thing. Unless the numbers are just severely nerfed. It's going to be like one shot Hammer of the Gods, a boss, into Oblivion. That's what this is promoting. It's the same thing. This is meant to nerf dropping Hammer of the Gods on bosses and exploding them, but this actually just promotes it in a couple extra steps gameplay. I don't think this is the fix. I don't think this is the fix. You're just gonna sit there and Earthshatter a fucker with like your overpowered gym and like, you know, not doing any damage, just building up stun meter, and then when the boss gets heavy stun, you press all your buttons and then you drop the biggest fucking Hammer of the Gods and the boss is dead instantly. Yeah, I don't like this change. It'll be kind of nice while mapping though, I think. You should be heavy stunning shit all the time while mapping, even without any synergy. You'll just naturally do it. I don't know, whatever. Herald skills with attack hits now properly state their hits cannot be evaded. This is not a functional change, just a descriptive one. Herald of Ash AoE increased. Herald of Ash. Okay, whatever. Herald of Ice AoE nerfed. Herald of Thunder AoE nerfed. What is preventing people from using Pukuguglio with Herald of Ice? Is there something I've missed? Because I feel like what I've read, they're just going to do that still. What is preventing people from using Pukuguglio with Herald of Ice? Is there anything that's stopping that? It's later? Okay. Hex Blast can now only detonate curses for which at least 50% of the duration has been expired. Curses will be visually different when 50% of the curse has expired. What? Who wants to play that? Who wants to play that? That's crazy. I'm surprised spells are getting cucked as hard as they are, because like spells are like genuinely like probably arguably the worst archetype. There's a couple outliers like Archmage and Detonate Dead, but you know, Ember Fusilati. But like, why are these random ass spells like fucking Firestorm getting nerfed? Ice Shard's Explosion, radius is now 1.4. I don't even know, that's some fucking stupid skill. And if you have multiple travel skills with cooldowns, their cooldowns are now shared. So Blink and Shield Charge would count here. Dorjin, thanks, dude. Yeah, Arc. Incinerate now deals 25% less Ignite. Another... Wait. Yeah, that's actually a buff. Leap Slam now has more stun buildup.
Meek creature!
Alklufk.
It already was a stun monster skill, honestly. That's kind of weird. It was a really good stunning skill. I don't know if it needs this. That's kind of a weird buff that it doesn't need. Yeah, it doesn't need this. It's already really good for stunning. Lightning Conduit now performs a number of extra lightning bolts if it consumes shocks from an enemy. These bolts are distributed among the targets in the skill area, but can hit the same target multiple times. That sounds cool. I don't know how that's going to actually play. Lightning Bolt, 200% more shock chance. Lightning Conduit now has 20% more damage with hits per 5 shock effect on the enemy. Well, so there's a thing here. That looks kind of promising. Lightning Rod now disappears after being chained to 6 times at all gem levels, previously 8 to 14. I don't know the Lightning Arrow Rod stuff. I know it was really strong, but I'm assuming that's a fairly significant nerf. Warped. Lightning Warp no longer creates shocked round. Magma Spray. This needed nerfed really bad. Now deals a lot less damage. What? Well, I'm assuming the gem has been tweaked and they just don't say it. The higher level gems. The higher level gem version of this was like bullshit OP. I'm sure it just doesn't say it in the patch notes. Magnetic Salvo now deals more damage. Explosion, less damage. Fires 8 missiles. What the fuck? Way less missiles. Okay. Mana Tempest. Quality now grants additional damage gained as lightning instead of causing its effects to linger. Mantra of Destruction's Purple Flame of Mantra of Destruction's Purple Flames of Chula now has a duration of 8, whatever. Malice now applies crit weakness every 0.52, whatever. Molten Blast. They buff Molten Blast. Yeah, they buff Molten Blast a fair bit. That's a pretty big buff, honestly. I don't know if it's good enough to use because it was kind of dog shit before. Pain Offering's Aura now grants minions. Minions aren't a thing in the game. Perfect Strike no longer always ignites. And now has an attack speed penalty base of 35%. Was 45. Quality now has more ignite chance. Previously magnitude. And more likely to hit. Need the gem numbers. I mean, I think Perfect Strike, just judging off of that, it seems fine. It should ignite anyway if it hits hard enough. I don't even think that's like, that's almost a 0 nerf. That's almost a 0 nerf, I think. But the gem tooltip might stay otherwise. Yeah, I don't, like, that skill should always ignite. It's gonna hit hard enough, it should always ignite anyway. It just depends on the actual gem tooltip. If for some reason it's like a gem that got like double nerf more than other gems, yeah, it's gonna be shit. But I mean, that looks the same to me, pretty much. Peaconk now deals Fizz instead of Chaos. I don't know how impactful that is, whatever. SRS now has a spirit duration of 5 and a maximum 2 spirits per summon cast, previously 5. Okay, SRS nerfed, whatever. Rain of Arrows. Arrow landing frequency is now affected by prod speed, meaning, for example, increased prod speed increases the number of arrows to land in a shorter total time. Reaper Invocation, 15 energy per enemy you kill with melee attacks.
Meek creature!
Souping.
I don't even know what this is. Ripwire Ballista now pins enemies as though dealing 400% more damage. Does that make it better than auto attack at like level 1? It actually might. I'd be curious. Rolling Sam now has a +1 second instead of +1.5. I wonder if that makes it better than auto attack at level 1 for hitting something. And the mana cost has been adjusted. I mean, that's nice for leveling, for sure. That's pretty impactful for leveling. I just don't know if it's better than auto attacking at level 1 for raw DPS. Seismic Cry no longer has increased Warcry speed. Okay. Shard Scavenger now instantly reloads your buffed. War crossbow stuff. Shattering Concoction gets the same treatment. Shattering Palm Explosions now have an additional random delay. What the fuck does that mean? Whatever. Hold up, Burb. I don't know what that means, but whatever. Gorgos, he's an evil dog. He's gonna bite what he does not like. That's you. That's you. That's you. He's gonna bite you. What is Shield Wall? Shield Wall segment, gym, pestle. Oh, whatever. Shock chain arrows now chain from over double away. That sounds like a lot. Siphoning strike shockwave radius slightly increased. Fuck skeleton minions. Fuck you. Snipes attack speed multiplier and mana cost has been adjusted. Stormwave now has a 100% chance, more chance of shock. Spark now fires 4 to 9 projectiles at gym level 1 to 20. Was 6 to 14. No longer has increased proj speed. And now provides projectile speed for quality instead of more projectiles. This is like the worst fucking skill in the game now. Holy shit. Spiral Volley now deals 30% more damage per frenzy charge consumed. Okay, cool. Sunder is faster by 0.4. Sunder's kind of decent. They nerf Stampede quality to make sure you can't get 100% easily, you motherfuckers. Sunder 1 second versus 1.4. Is that enough for me to play it? Maybe. If I don't need RT. Looks pretty good. It was pretty good before. Just need a dual tooltip, but that seems playable for boss damage. Tempest Bell's impact now deals a fair bit less damage. Now requires 10 combo points to use instead of 4. That's a lot more. The Bell's destroyed after 10 hits instead of up to 19 hits. Now causes the Bell to be destroyed at +2, so it's like massively nerfed. The Shockwave no longer deals 30% more damage per ailment, where 60% is converted. Instead, it now has gains 30%. It also now deals way less damage. Can only be triggered every 250 millisecond. Cooldown doesn't affect it. Tempest Spell's limit on number of bells is now shared between different copies of the skill. Dude, monk damage is going to be so dog shit. Monk damage or staff damage in general is going to be so fucking bad. I don't think people, this is the thing I was talking about, that they might overnerf monk with basically this. Staff damage is going to be non-existent after this. Staff damage on monks is going to be absolutely dog shit. Like, just truly fucking horrific dog shit with that. That nerf is massive. Toxic Growth now requires more stored poison. Whatever. Vaulting Impact, more stun. Vine Arrow now has a limit of 1 plant. Oh, this. The on-kill effects of Herald skills can no longer trigger from kills caused by Herald. Yeah, we already knew that was coming. So what does Puku Guglio even do in the game? You just only have to chill, right? You don't actually have to freeze. Right? Yeah. I think that's how it works. Volcanic Fissure no longer has a limit of 8 concurrent fissures, and the Aftershocks no longer erupt other fissures. I never even use a skill. Whatever. We'll take Grenade, 6-second cooldown set at 3. Wave of Frost. More freeze build up. Wind Dancer now grants 10% more evasion per stage instead of up to 19%. And gains a stage faster. A little bit faster. Gale Force now deals more damage. Kind of weird. And now uses crit chance of your weapon. Wind Dancer stages are now consumed on being hit by an enemy. Any hit. Instead of just from melee. Wind Dancer's stage gain timer is no longer interrupted when you are hit. Yeah, that's a fair nerf for sure. It's not like a big nerf, but it's definitely enough. Withering Presence. Wither duration is 6 seconds, previously 4. And withers faster. Skills with expanding ground effects. Okay. Poison Cloud or on Gas Arrow. Gas Arrow now increased 20% radius up to 80%. Okay, so they nerfed the AoE. Releasing Ray's Shield immediately after blocking attack now performs a shield bash that damages and stuns enemies in front of you, and also causes daze if you are using a tower shield. I guess let's try to make it competitive with parry. Okay. Astral Projection now called. Oh, these are support gems. The skill gem kind of sucked already. Why are they nerfing it? Brutality? Astral Projector now causes supported skills to have 25% less AoE. Brutality 25 versus 35. Cannibalism. This was bullshit OP, honestly. It's definitely warranted. I don't even know what capacitor is. Less mana cost on close combat, sure. I don't even know what considered casting is. Crescendo, more mana cost. Is that necessary? Nobody pretty much even uses this. Just to more mana cost. Hourglass, 30% versus 40%. Impact Shockwave, tiny bit less AoE. Impetus, more mana. Magnified Effect, 10% less multiplicative AoE, and it costs more mana. Shocks caused by supported skills are reflected back to you. %40 more crit when consuming power charges. Scatter Shot deals 35% less damage instead of 20% less damage. Spell Echo doesn't work with triggered. Unbreakable now has a different stun threshold multiplier values for incoming light stuns as opposed to incoming heavy stuns. Okay, whatever. They nerfed Strip Away's exposure effect. Window of Opportunity. That might be annoying, huh? That's more of a that's a fair perfect strike nerf, I think, right there. Fair bit more. That's gonna be really obnoxious to play. Making the window a little bit tighter and then a fair bit less damage. Whatever. Less specific attribute down to 3% max. 1% increase. No longer gets max life or mana. Instead, grants flat 8 life or flat 8 mana. Astramentus, same thing, honestly. Just more Divine Orb consumption. Disdain now has 10% damage taken, bypasses ES, previously 2025. $10 to 15% max life is extra mana. This is shit now. Nerf Choir the Storm. Dream Fragments, 10% mana instead of 20. Everlasting Gaze, that's the mana amulet. 4%, 6%. Was 20 to 30. Well, that item's shit now. Ghost Ride, 50% nerf. That's dog shit now. Hand of Wisdom in action. It's just previously 3% attack speed per 25. I don't think it's bad, honestly. That's still a lot of flat damage. This is still a lot of flat damage. This is like giga significant for sure. But like that's... I don't even think that's... What is this? What is this? Whatever. Ingenuity no longer is 40 to 80% bonus. Instead, it is 20 to 30 for left ring and 20 to 30 for right ring. Am I reading this correctly? It's so shit. It's so shit. I don't even know what this item is. Mahu Zodal now has 100% increased effective soul cores. Was up to 600%. But now as an addition... What is this? Do we know what this is? Everlasting Sacrifice. I don't know what that is. Is that anywhere? When you reach full energy shield, sacrifice all ES to gain +5 max res for 4 seconds. But that's only when you reach max ES. Seems bad. But this item was way too strong before. The Melting Mana Storm Maelstrom unique flask no longer has the property of recover all mana when used. Okay. Wait, why? One of the best items in the entire game is buffed? Why? This item's way too good. Why is it buffed? Read below. The following random modifiers can no longer roll. Oh. So it's shit now. So you can't get max life and you can't get max attributes, so yeah, it's shit. Never mind, it's shit. The following modifiers have been adjusted. 6 to 10 spirit per soul core, 6 to 10 global defense. So what else can it get other than these three? What else was there that's not in the pool? Added 7 new random per socketed. Rune or soul. I don't know. Whatever. So I guess we just don't know. The Oaksworn unique shield no longer provides 50 spirit and now provides 50% increased life regen rate. I mean, that's fairly decent. Honestly. Pillar now provides 1% attack speed per 10 dex, 1% AoE per 10 int. Previously was double that. It's basically just 50% nerfed. Queen of the Forest now grants 1 movement speed per 800 evasion. Was 500. Okay. Now causes enemies in your presence to gain crit weakness once per second. For 15 seconds. Well, you need to delete Eye of Winter's crit weakness. You know? It's weapon damage now. Whatever. Temporalis now causes skills to have -2 to -1 second cooldown. Previously -4 to -2. Yeah, it's pretty big. Some minion thing. No grants, less rarity. Okay. Okay. Nerfed on that. Nerfed on that. I feel like I didn't read a single crit nerf, and that's probably what's going to be meta after a couple days. Right? They have to nerf crit. You can't leave crit as it is in the game. It's dumb. Yeah, this is bad. The fact that they're going to nerf this much stuff and not nerf crit. They need to hit crit on multiple, like, different angles. Everybody's just going to play crit builds after a couple days. Like, pretty much 100% chance. Firestorm got nerfed crit. That's not a skill. You could be Big Nose. Runes now have 3 tiers. Yeah, we know. And reforge 3 regular runes for 1 greater of that type. That's good. But you can, yeah, you can do the, yeah. doubled the drop rate of runes. You can no longer reforge 3 runes to obtain a random rune. Base damage of crossbows has been increased. Breach rings now have the implicit of max 40% instead of 50. Is that necessary to really nerf that, do you think? I don't know if that was necessary. It was pretty hard to get a good breach ring already. I don't know if that's even necessary. On top of that, this. Yeah, it's pretty hard to get this anyway. Notable passive skills in the starting area can no longer be instilled. Okay, whatever. Increased effective auras can no longer be gained on jewels or time lost. The fletching and time lost jewel modifiers that provide. Okay. Log in right there. The corruption modifiers on jewels. You get less attributes for corruptions. Wait, is this a typo? The corrupted modifier on helmet and rings that provide 1 to 2 life regen per second can no longer roll. It has been replaced with 1 to 2% life regeneration rate. 1 to 2%. Shouldn't that be like 10 to 20%? Why is it 1 to 2? Like, holy shit, guys. That might be 1% more life per second. That might be 1 life per second. What is that? Scepters can only roll level +4 minion skills instead of 5. I don't know what that means, if that was a big deal. I'm assuming it is. Mana on amulets has been nerfed. Whatever. Mana on all gear in the game has been nerfed, it looks like. I'm assuming that's what I'm reading. Buffs? There are no buffs. This is only nerfs. Bosses that need to perform certain actions to progress through the fight will now become immune to damage if their life is brought significantly past the point where the action should be used. Okay. Armor on all monsters has been reduced. Okay. The life of the falling pinnacle bosses has been adjusted. At difficulty 0, they'll have roughly half the maximum life. That doesn't mean we're killing it twice as fast, though. Show us the skill gems. Scaling back up to unchanged by difficulty 4. Lower the damage conversion to other elements for some skills used by some of these bosses. These bosses no longer have armor pen. That's a huge armor buff. Arbiter of Ash deals more damage with a few abilities. Yeah, his fodder attacks weren't that punishing. Scourge of the Skies, that's the bird, right? Now deals increased damage on its vomit. Zukuguglio now deals increased damage with Leap Slam. Doesn't this one-shot? The Trial Master now deals increased damage with his channeled Blood Slam. That already one-shots like everybody. They buff it. I don't even know what boss this is. Now deals increased damage with their multi-slam skill. Is that the Sanctum boss?
Meek creature!
Dino Dance.
Yeah. He's evil. Where was I? Stone-clad gorillas now deal reduced damage with their leap slams. Someone give me the thing. You know what I'm talking about. Mighty Silverfist dodge roll now deals reduced damage. This thing was one-shotting my warrior in Act 3 with like 800 life and like decent armor. Like just instantly obliterating him. That was cool. Someone give it to me. You know what I'm talking about. Where is it? Give me the clip. I don't have it. Where is it? Where is it? Someone give me the clip. Someone has it. I know someone has it. Olroth now deals increased damage with his dash skills. Kuster, thanks, dude.
Meek creature!
Ashar the Sand Mother now deals less damage with poison spray. Wrathbreaker now has resistance to cold, vulnerability to fire. Perfect strike, dude. Lower the damage of it that hates chaos quicksand skill. What? Pussies. Count Gianor's swipe can no longer be blocked. Monsters now have higher light stun damage scaling with level. Okay. Lower the maximum number of monsters that can be alive in a ritual at once. Electrocute now builds up slower on players. Pin now builds up slower on non-players. Hey, this is nice. But it needs normal monsters too. Magic enemies are now primed for stun at 50%, 60%, 70% instead of 60, 70, 80. That's a pretty decent chunk, honestly. Korgos is an evil dog of death. He will bite what he does not like. Destructible pillars in Zukuguglio's arena have their life increased. Added a series of enhanced rare monster modifiers that are more powerful than the standard versions. What does that mean? No longer targets non-players with its rewind skill. The bloated Miller's charge now pushes players sideways instead of carrying them along. Yeah, that shit was honestly pretty bullshit. Sandwich. The Sump boss map has been renamed from the Eater of Children to Braca the Withered Crone. She still eats children. You must now open the Halani Gate before you advance to the Ascent of Power quest to be able to travel to the Trial of Sekima. Added the ability to spectate party members if you died. That's kind of cool. Ritual pauses the game. Item filter, gem level. The instilling menu can no longer be closed if you have an item placed with an. How many people lost their fucking item? Made a number, blah blah blah. Okay, button TX. Bug fixes. Fixed a bug where skills that allow movement during their actions won't apply their slow effect at full effect. Whatever. Anything special? Oh man, they nerfed this. Fixed a bug that could cause shields based attacks to not deal damage. Isn't that like every shield skill in the game? Hmm. Fixed a bug where impact shockwave was not scaling with area modifiers. Is that in the game right now? Like this, like just impact shockwave doesn't scale with AoE? I've never noticed. I didn't use it that much. So impact shockwave will now scale with AoE. That's like pretty big if that was the case. I don't actually know if that was the case. That'll make your impact shockwave's AoE like 4 times bigger. Fixed a bug where the benefits of heft were applying twice to minions. Fixed a bug where slowing the Arbiter of Ash while they were using their Flame Drop Beam Slam combo skill. I told you the timing was off if you slowed them, chilled them, or Temp Chains them. I fucking told you, man. It just made it to where there was no rhythm game, like counterplay, and you would just die, basically. Unless you could just face tank the, you know, all of his abilities, like his beam and shit, but... Growlibor. Corgo, Corgo, baby dog. Corgo, baby dog. Well, we need skill gems. Fuck. I don't like the crit stuff. Crit's gonna be too good. Crit's gonna be too good, man. For sure. You can't really league start crit, though, that well. But crit will be meta. You're gonna have a zillion crit Amazons running around, writing on the Reddit and writing in Twitch chats that their character's getting one shot on loop, but they're gonna have damage. Yeah, it's gonna be Zula Warriors with their crit builds, but they're not gonna have any survivability. They'll have damage, though. Yeah, crit's too good. Still. Corgo is evil. Pathfinder actually looks pretty good. Like, hardcore viable. Pathfinder went from, like, not realistically being able to be played hardcore to... it's probably good to play hardcore with that. Hammer of the Gods, man. I don't fucking know. That promotes the dog shit bossing gameplay. What they did with it. Where you do no damage, do no damage, do no damage, and eventually you get the heavy stun off, and then you drop your Hammer of the Gods, and the boss instantly killed in one hit. But... that being said... let me see. There was something I noticed. I don't know how to word it. There was something in here, right? That stood out to me. I don't know where they put it though. Is it would it be in bug fix? I don't know if it'd be in bug fix. I think it's here. Monster changes. This. Monsters that need to perform certain actions to progress their fight will now become immune to damage. Which means Arbiter, when he goes phase 2, I'm assuming this means he'll become invincible. So even if you were to one-shot Arbiter, he's going to do his phase 1 to phase 2 transition and just become immune, I think. That's what this means. And same with Zesht. Zesht going phase 2, he'll become immune, I think, as well. Which means if you do, theoretically, Hammer of the Gods, Arbiter, or Zesht, and it would kill him in one hit, he's just going to become invincible when he goes phase 2. And then you have to somehow, you know, rebuild up your stun. I think. That's how that word would work. That's how I'm reading it. I don't know if that's exactly true, but that's what it seems like they're trying to do. In general, it's pretty good. The only thing I don't like is crit. Crit seems too good. Need to see gem scaling still, though. We don't know if, like, plus 14 gem levels is going to be, like, you know, you do 10 times more damage still or some stupid shit like that. Corgo, baby dog. You'll still have people just instantly killing, but the thing that's going to be more common is everybody's just going to chain feed to monsters. I think there's going to be a lot of chain feeding to monsters. Like, you're going to be dying a lot. If you're dying a lot now, you're probably dying like 10 to 40 times more. Because it's not like there's defensive options in the game. You're going to be dying a lot more. Korgos is evil. Korgos is evil, dog. There's no Grim Feast anymore, but they left Meditate in the game for some reason, making Invoker very, very OP. Wind Dancer's nerfed. And Atziri's Disdain is nerfed. I'm surprised they didn't nerf Energy Shield in general. Just straight up nerf Energy Shield. So ES should still be really good. I feel like the bottom right tree of anything that's playing bottom right side of the tree is going to have a really hard time living. Every Telegraph Slam will instantly kill your character. Like, you will get one shot, period. Bottom left and top will be fine. ES is still cooked, especially with Invoker. Invoker's bullshit. I'm surprised they left Meditate in the game. They have to delete it. If you're going to delete Grim Feast, you have to delete Meditate. It's Korgo. He's evil. It's Korgo. He's evil. It's Korgo. It's evil. He's Korgo. He's evil. Pretty good patch notes. They just needed to nerf crit and ES, I think. I think ES and crit Meditate. Kind of slip through. Crit. Yes. Meditate. Was there any change to maximum resistances anywhere? I didn't see anything, did you? So Jules can still get maximum resist rolls, which makes Smith Guy, just people in general, like, I don't think you should be able to get +2 max res on Jules. And it doesn't seem like any, yeah, it's day 190 max res, if you really want it on Blacksmith. Yeah, Blacksmith free 90 res. But I mean, Smith of Katava probably is not, it's still not as tanky as Invoker. I think Invoker's the tankiest character in the game, by far. I don't think anything's even remotely close. Invoker just because he has Meditate, and Meditate's OP. Do. Meditate OP. Life got nerfed. It did a little bit, yeah. Energy shield patch? Probably. Yeah, probably. Katava guy will be very tanky, though.
Meek creature!
Thus he is baby. Thus he is a baby. What you're copy pasting is one item in the entire game. The body armor that drops off Arbiter. Download the fucking game, Maps Corpse. Yeah, you'll still have builds pretty much instantly kill everything, but they're simultaneously also going to die if they get shit on, like anything shits in their direction. There's going to be a lot of dog shit gameplay where it's like people just give up trying to do anything defensively and they're just going to stack damage, but you'll be able to stack enough damage to kill things pretty much instantly, including the hardest bosses in the game. But if that boss connects one attack on you, you're dead. Which is dog shit gameplay. As long as they don't make it mandatory for defenses by indirectly letting you just stack damage infinitely, like, people are going to do that. As long as people can stack damage infinitely to the point that they can, you know, instantly kill anything they attack, then people are going to do that. And more people are going to do that than trying to put any defense on their character. You'll have a few builds, a few archetypes that can still do that. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of glass cannon playstyle, which means a lot... People are going to QQ even harder that their characters are dying because they just don't feel incentivized to scale defense. And they're just going to stack damage infinitely, mostly through crit. And that's probably TLDR of how this is going to play out. Like, if you're planning on playing something like Amazon... Every single boss, major boss mechanic that hits you will instantly kill your character. If you're playing a witch, or you're playing a life, like a bottom left corner life armor build, you'll be fine. You'll be able to tank those hits, but I think bottom right tree is you're gonna get one shot. And you're gonna get one shot a lot. You're gonna get one shot more than you've ever been one shot before. Korgos is evil dog. Korgos is evil dog. Invoker looks OP though, again. Didn't get, like, as long as Meditate's there, man. You can't leave Meditate in the game. The future of this game, this is a lot of nerfs, and I'm gonna spoil something for you guys. 0.3 is gonna be even more nerfs. I guarantee it. Like this, like they're nerfing in this patch, a lot of nerfs, but the next patch that comes out is even more nerfs. I guarantee it.
Meek creature!
Yeah, they'll probably touch crit if they're not gonna last minute fix crit or touch it. This is just one wave of nerfs. You get more nerfs next patch. He's evil. Yeah, ES will probably get nerfed eventually. I mean, they gotta delete Meditate. That can't live. The fact that Meditate's gonna exist in this patch seemingly is like bullshit. Because what that means is you can have 30,000 energy shield. And 30,000 energy shield, when you got life builds running around with 2.5k life, is retarded. I don't know what else to tell you. That's stupid. You can't run around with like 2.5k life builds and that's how they're supposed to be played, and then you simultaneously have a character with 30,000 energy shield running around. That's dumb. Korgos is evil. Evil Korgo. There needs to be more nerfs. You need to nerf energy shield, you need to nerf meditate, you need to nerf crit, and then we're talking a little bit more realistic, I think.